Watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel, broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have another BOLDR watch company piece. BOLDR is a watch I've reviewed quite a number of watches now, so take a look at the screenshots up the top here and the links that I'll put up to previous reviews if you want to look at the company and introduction. I won't go into too much detail here today. Today's piece comes in this rather nice rugged crate that they pack it in, and I quite enjoy it. So without further ado, guys, let's flip the camera around and take a closer look at today's BOLDR. Alright guys, so here we have the package on the table. So this is the rubberized BOLDR packaging in shipping crate format. You might drive this with a forklift if it was real size, but it's kind of like a fun, tough stuff type of packaging. Card here, rubberized here. I think it's pretty cool and I enjoy this. Because the bottom's rubberized, it doesn't really spin, so the spin rating is pretty much 0 out of 5 here. Okay, so let's just get it open and show what it is like. So inside is this big foam to protect the watch, and on the side here is kind of the BOLDR cards that it comes with. Cool warranty card, a little bit about the Odyssey, which is obviously the model that we're talking about here, right? A bit of marketing information for BOLDR, right? There we go. All right, and then the instructions, which really, you don't really need for a three-hander, but I'm just going to let you pause it and read it if you wish, just for reference, okay? And that's just the outside of the card there. All right, let's just take the watch out of the packaging and now show it to you in more detail. So guys, over here we have the BOLDR Odyssey Bronze in Aventurine colorway. So the blue Aventurine. Aventurine comes in different colors, of course, but it does come in blue, so they've kind of named this watch Aventurine for the colorway. So MSRP pretty high, right? This is 649 USD MSRP. I'll put discount codes on the bottom. I think they've given me 10%, so check out the description for discount codes that I have. So if it was 10%, it takes it to under 600, which is still pretty substantial for a watch like this. But let's just get into the details here now. So first up, let's talk about the movement, which is again none other than the Seiko NH35A. I feel like I'm always talking about NH35A, but there you go, stats down the left there, no ringing out. The rated accuracy, as usual, you can see there. In this case, it's slightly slow, -6 seconds per day in the week that I've had it, but it's still within that rated accuracy. The quick set date here today is implemented at the 6 o'clock position, which is good because you kind of get sick of 3 o'clock position, but this one's 6 o'clock, which I like, and then they've also gone for white on a black disc, which I also appreciate that little change up. So good on them for the change. Okay. So enough about the movement, let's talk about this monster of a case, which is 45 millimeters. This is a 45 millimeter chunker, right? It is a full 16.5 millimeters to the top of the glass there, 22 millimeter lug width, of course, for this case size, as you might expect. And it's got a very full-blooded lug-to-lug distance of no less than 53 millimeters. The overall weight of this watch on this leather strap is 175 grams. So despite the fact that it is on leather, it is still a very substantial weighted watch thanks to the size of this case. Okay, let's talk about the finishing, which, as you've seen me pan this watch around, you can see that it is 100% sandblasted matte finishing on that bronze, which is pretty well done. It really is quite a well done case here. Okay, hard angular design is what they've gone for here. The helium valve, I presume that's in steel, it's a different color, but that's also matte finishing. And then talking about the case back, it's got circular brushing, right? That stainless steel circular brushed around the periphery, and that very nice, really quite a nice, let's see, what's the orientation this way, compass point, artwork design. They've said that that's a limited edition art piece, so it's embossed, polished in the middle, really quite nicely embossed with matte finishing around the outside there. Let me know if you know what it stands for. I'm not really sure what all those symbols mean. Appreciate it if you have more knowledge about this than I do, which is not hard because I really know nothing about that particular art piece. So screw down case back, and then the sign crown, right? There it's got that, you know, typical Boulder B, and then the kind of that double layered Boulder crown, which is a bit of a trademark of Boulder. Screw down, and this one is a full-blooded 500-meter diver, and that's appropriate that they've kind of put that helium escape valve there. If you were going to push the limits on this watch, maybe that actually does come into play. Okay, talking about the dial now. The dial here is pretty gorgeous. It is actually a blue kind of sandpaper matte texture there, right? Sandpaper textured dial there that you can see. Hopefully the details come through in this shot as well as the macro shots that I'll share with you guys. It's got printed details, right? The Boulder, the wordings there, and the printed chapter ring around the periphery of the dial. 11 applied indices, not at the 6 o'clock position because of the date window. And then moving on to the hands, you have polished gold tone obelisk shaped hands. I guess you might call those obelisk hands. It's got a rectangular pip on the stick seconds hand, and the lume wise is on the usual spots, you know, the indices, the 3 hands, as well as the bezel. It's superluminova old radium is what they have here. Okay, rim shot right here, of course, to show you guys how it looks like in the dark. Right, on top of the case is a 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel. Of course, that's all you're obviously going to expect that in a watch like this. It's aluminium insert in that blue Aventurine color, and let's just hear how it sounds like now. 5, right, 10. Right, so 20 clicks for 10-minute rotation. Sorry, I didn't start it at the 12 o'clock position. My OCD must have been not acting up today for me not to, kind of put this at the 12 o'clock position at the start, as I usually do like this. So 120 click unidirectional bezel. On top of the dial is a double dome sapphire, pretty nicely domed internal anti-reflective coating is what they've provided here. So that's the description of the case and the movement and all that. Let's move on to the strap, which is what they call custom Italian leather. I'm not really sure what that means, but it's got stitching and it's a leather strap. Fairly stiff, I gotta say. This is, it's stiff enough that it's actually quite difficult to put on out of the box. And then the buckle is kind of matching finish, right? Sandblasted bronze there with the Boulder B on the buckle. Okay, so that's the entire description. Let's pop on the wrist for the wrist shot for you guys now. And there you go, guys. The BOLDR Odyssey bronze in Aventurine on my 17 centimeter wrist. Definitely, too large for me by, most kind of conventional measures and opinions. 53 millimeter lug to lug really is pretty massive, and 16.5 centimeters on the thickness, as you can see there. And that strap, again, pretty stiff. I'm going to try to take it out here. It's pretty stiff. Took me quite a long number of seconds to put it on for the wrist shot. Okay, so there we go, guys. That's the description. What have I enjoyed about this? I think overall the strengths are it's a fairly spec'd package, right? It's got the Seiko movement, it's got sapphire crystal, it's got CU SN8 bronze, so 8% copper bronze, which is the highest grade or the most desirable grade, the highest level of corrosion resistance in terms of, marine grade bronze. So it's got that proper bronze. It's got a full 500 meter rating, so very solidly built watch, and that it definitely is a very solid watch. And it's got a helium escape valve, so lots of nice specs here. And overall, a very, very well done, very solid case. There's no doubt about it. The case quality is excellent here, and of course, it is completely unique. Boulder do not tend to copy anyone, so the design is fully unique. It does have that internal flange that it says helium escape valve, and then what's that, trip lock. So it's kind of like a Rolex lift there, I suppose, but they've done it their own way. It's not like any other watch that I've ever seen. And that's the Boulder trademark. They do go for their unique designs. And this colorway, I have to say, the blue is pretty attractive. I really like the look of this one with the, it offsets the bronze pretty darn nice. All right, what are the concerns? Okay, firstly, I've mentioned this already. The strap is way too stiff out of the package. It probably will soften up with use, but out of the package, it's really quite difficult to use. The watch, I think in most people's language, it is too large. It's very large, right? 16.5 thickness, 45 millimeter diameter, 53 millimeter lug to lug. All right, it's too big for me and probably too big for many people. If you have a large wrist, of course, this might be something that suits you and something you enjoy. But for a wrist like mine, 17 cm, it is, really, I think, too large. And, with the large watch, it kind of precludes formal use. You're not going to wear this under a shirt sleeve. This is really more formal tool style diver and all the inherent limitations of large watches. At the price range, of course, that is a bit of an elephant in the room. At the price range, you might expect something more, over 600, I guess under 600 with 10% discount. At this range, so many micro brands are providing a Swiss movement, and that's probably something I kind of might have expected from them, but you can kind of forgive it a little bit because they've gone for the high grade bronze, and they do have, of course, design costs being completely unique. So, I can forgive them some of the cost for the design, but I would have thought maybe they could have snuck in a Swiss movement in here, but let me know what you think. So there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on this watch. Let's flip it around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys, my review of the BOLDR Odyssey Bronze in Aventurine color. Would love to hear your thoughts on this particular piece. Boulder is pretty well known, they're a pretty well respected company for their original design. So if you own any of their watches, or if you own this particular model, would certainly be interested to hear your experience and thoughts on this. I think this particular model is, priced pretty high, and maybe there are some concerns about its competitiveness in today's micro brand market. But it does have certain things in its favor, particularly the great design that Boulder does tend to put out. So, certainly let me know your thoughts on the value proposition here. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.